Book of recaps presenting the action and horror movie named Peninsula. The movie follows a soldier named John Suk. It's been 4 years since a zombie virus took over South Korea. John is trying to get his sister's family on the last ship leaving the country. On their way, they come across a woman with a child who begs for a ride. John makes the tough decision to leave them behind. John reached the pier, boarded the ship, and was assigned a cabin. The ship was supposed to sail to Japan, but a soldier told John it was changing course for Hong Kong. John confronted the captain, who shut him down. Back in his cabin, John found a man in an unnatural contortion. A zombie had snuck on board. When John returned, the cabin was a bloody mess. He rushed to his sister's room to find her family zombified, including his bitten nephew. His sister was too terrified to speak. A bite meant turning into a zombie, and time was running out. John Suk rushed to pull his sister to escape, but she refused to leave without her son. At that moment, the bitten man on the ground turned into a zombie and attacked John Suk. He fired all the bullets in his pistol and escaped, closing the cabin door behind him. At that moment, his brother-in-law, Jamin, also returned. The two of them watched in pain as a large group of zombies attacked John Suk's sister. The camera turns. It is 4 years later. John Suk and Jamin fled to Hong Kong on a cruise ship, but their life here is difficult due to the guilt of his sister's death. One day, a gangster approached John Suk. They wanted him to go back to Korea and retrieve money from a truck. Now, Korea is a zombie paradise, and zombies aren't interested in money. This gang member had figured out a way to profit by sending men to Korea to collect a truckload of dollars, 20 million in total. When they returned, they were surrounded by zombies and killed. If John Suk can get the money back, he'll get to keep half of it. John Suk readily agreed. Jamin, Hui Xiu, and Miho went with him. Soon, John Suk and his group boarded a boat. The gangsters drove the boat offshore and gave them weapons and satellite phones. Then they rowed ashore in a rubber boat, leaving the ship docked and waiting for their return. After disembarking, the place was eerily silent with crumbling buildings everywhere and not a soul in sight. Miho found a car with the keys still in it. After starting the car, they set off to look for the truck. Hui Xiu, who was a cab driver in the area before the zombie outbreak, took the wheel. John and his friends saw a truck. John checked it out, but the license plate wasn't what they were looking for. Just then, they heard a weird sound nearby. He peeked through his special night vision scope and froze in fear. Zombies were staring back at him, hungry for a bite. They kept searching for the truck and finally found it under a bridge. But someone was watching them from the shadows with binoculars. Xiaomin found a truck with a bag full of cash inside. They rushed to the driver's seat to get away, but a dead driver was slumped over the wheel. Xiaomin tried to pull him out, but the dead driver suddenly woke up and tried to bite. The struggle caused the truck horn to blare. John Suk heard the noise and came to help. He shot the driver, but the loud horn attracted a swarm of zombies. These zombies couldn't see well at night, but they could hear perfectly. John fought them off with his rifle, but there were too many. He jumped into the truck with Xiaomin and they sped away, leaving the other car behind. Huaishio was ecstatic about the money, dreaming of a better life. But their joy was short-lived. Someone fired a flare, blinding them in the dark. The zombies, drawn by the light, swarmed the road. Panicked, they swerved to avoid the undead horde, but Huaishio lost control. The car skidded and crashed. The truck behind them slammed into their car after the brakes failed. The crash threw John Suk out and Huaishio died. The others were hurt too. More zombies shambled towards them. Xiaomin scrambled into the wrecked truck while John ran. He met a girl named June who drove a car. She easily ran over the zombies. There was a little girl in the passenger seat. June swerved the car, using the zombies as a barrier. John couldn't handle the bumps and passed out. They were under the bridge when a huge crowd of zombies blocked the road. The girl, June, grabbed a remote control car with flashing lights and music. She steered it right at the mass of zombies. Beeping and flashing, the toy car became a zombie magnet. They all swarmed towards it, leaving the road clear. Taking advantage of the distraction, the little girl in the passenger seat expertly steered their car around, leading the zombies on a wild chase. Once clear, the car roared to life, plowing through a few stragglers before speeding away. Stuck under the truck, Xiaomin watched the zombies mill around, not leaving. Suddenly, a loud, flashy advertisement van screeched by, grabbing the zombies' attention. Taking advantage of the distraction, a group of people emerged from several armored vehicles. They looked rough. Miho climbed out of the truck to ask for help, but he was already infected. The leader of the group saw this and immediately killed him. Then, they climbed into the truck and drove off, leaving Xiaomin trapped inside. He had no idea what was happening. Meanwhile, John woke up to find an old man, June's grandfather. A woman then approached, and John recognized her instantly, Min Jin, the one they left behind on the road. Apparently, she and her daughter had survived the apocalypse. They took John in, explaining that the old man had been using a radio to send out distress signals. Meanwhile, Xiaomin found himself taken to a camp by the group who stole the truck. The group that took the truck belonged to Unit 631. They used to be normal soldiers, but when the zombie outbreak happened, they got stuck in this remote location, cut off from the outside world. To survive, they became ruthless zombie hunters, building defenses and scavenging supplies from the dead. They weren't good people anymore, acting worse than the zombies themselves. This is the place the Minjin family had escaped from. When Unit 631 found Xiaomin in the truck, they were brutal. They tore off his clothes, spray-painted numbers on him, and scared him so much his legs wouldn't work. They threw him in a crowded container with other naked, terrified people. Suddenly, the container door opened, and everyone was forced out. They found themselves in a giant arena surrounded by cheering crowds who were placing bets. A countdown began, and then a gate swung open, unleashing a horde of zombies. It was a horrifying game, people versus zombies. Many were ripped apart in the frenzy. The music blares, signaling the end of the deadly game. A mysterious man in a glowing suit appears, effortlessly controlling the zombies away from the terrified survivors. Xiaomin, still dazed from the ordeal, finds himself back in the container. The guards toss in some instant noodles, which everyone devours hungrily. The leader of this brutal camp, Captain Su, is introduced. Weary of the savage life, he's on the verge of suicide. Just then, a knock at the door disrupts his plan. A guard brings him a bottle of foreign wine, a tempting alternative to death. This same guard reveals they found a truck with a satellite phone. Curious, Captain Su answers a call from the mysterious ship they'd heard about. The ship's crew, disappointed it's not who they expected, still offer a deal. Deliver a sum of money and they'll allow everyone on board to escape this hellhole. Captain Su, desperate for a way out, accepts. Meanwhile, Jiangsuk's group, believing Xiaomin is dead, plan to steal the truck at night and use it to reach the port and board the ship. As dusk settles, Jiangsuk wakes from his sleep, unaware of the dramatic turn of events. Jiangsuk's group grabbed weapons and supplies, determined to steal the truck back. They snuck into Unit 631's main camp using a secret passage, the same one they used to escape before. After taking out a guard, they spotted the truck. Meanwhile, at the Coliseum, Captain Su announced to the cheering crowd that they had enough supplies, hinting at another brutal game. However, his true plan was to use the distraction to escape alone in the truck. Sergeant Kim, however, sensed something amiss. When Captain Su returned to his room, Sergeant Kim was waiting, but didn't find any immediate clues. Captain Su used a speaker to mask the sound as he grabbed a pistol hidden under the table. Sergeant Kim, unaware of the hidden weapon and believing they were on good terms, left the room satisfied. Jiangsuk and Minjing reached the truck, ready to leave. Suddenly, Captain Su's men arrived. Minjing hid under the truck with a gun, pretending to be Captain Su while Jiangsuk went to investigate. The guards mentioned a brave man caught in the Coliseum, Jiaming. Realizing Jiaming was alive, Jiangsuk raced to save him. Meanwhile, Captain Su himself appeared. He seemed to know Minjing, but then shockingly pulled a gun and shot her. Minjing instinctively reversed the truck, knocking him down. They found a satellite phone on his body, offering a glimmer of hope. Back in the Coliseum, Jiaming continued his brutal fight against the zombies. Just as a zombie lunged at him, Jiangsuk arrived, taking down the horde with a smoke bomb. He grabbed Jiaming, and they made a desperate escape. However, soldiers blocked their path, opening fire on Jiangsuk. Jiaming, grabbing a rifle, fired wildly at the soldiers, then tossed the gun to Jiangsuk. Jiangsuk finished off the zombie, but Sergeant Kim, unseen, shot Jiaming dead. In the chaos, Sergeant Kim aimed at Jiangsuk again. Just as he fired, Minjing rammed the truck through the soldiers, allowing Jiangsuk to escape. Captain Su, regaining consciousness outside, watched helplessly as the truck sped away. Sergeant Kim and his men emerged. Meanwhile, a swarm of zombies surrounded Jiangsuk's truck. Just as they were about to be overrun, Jun's car appeared, its bright lights attracting the horde. Minjing seized the opportunity, plowing through the zombies in his truck. Back at the camp, the old man used fireworks to divert the remaining zombies, giving everyone a chance to escape. The two cars raced towards the port, but Sergeant Kim's forces were hot on their heels. Firing flares, they attracted a massive wave of zombies, surrounding Jiangsuk's car. Trapped under an overpass, Jiangsuk shot out the window, but the zombies swarmed through the opening. Sergeant Kim, his car malfunctioning, slammed into the zombie pile, his escape route blocked. Overwhelmed, he was devoured by the horde. With Sergeant Kim gone, Jiangsuk contacted the ship via satellite phone. Just as they reached the port, Captain Su emerged in his own car, slamming into Jun's vehicle. He grabbed Jun, holding her hostage. But in a daring move, the little girl steered her remote control car into Captain Su, distracting him. He fired back, but the old man leaped in front of the bullet meant for the girl, sacrificing himself. Minjing retaliated, but was shot again, this time in the leg. Taking advantage of the chaos, Captain Su escaped in the truck, haunted by visions of his past life in Hong Kong. Captain Su, desperate, drove the truck onto the ship. Gangsters were waiting, but instead of a welcome, they shot him. They planned to kill whoever arrived. Su, in his final moments, put the truck in neutral. It lurched forward, getting stuck in the doorway, blocking the entrance. A horde of zombies approached the ship. Meanwhile, the injured old man lay dying. Suddenly, a helicopter appeared in the sky, offering a glimmer of hope. The little girl, quick thinking, launched fireworks to grab the helicopter's attention. Jiang-suk grabbed her and sprinted towards the helicopter, but zombies swarmed the ship attracted by the fireworks. Seeing this, Minjing jumped into a truck and blasted the horn, drawing the zombies away from Jiang-suk and the girl. Exhausted but determined, Jiang-suk reached the helicopter with the two children. The girl desperately pleaded for them to save her mother, but the rescue team remained unmoved. Minjing, trapped in the truck surrounded by zombies, decided to give up. But just then, a gunshot rang out, giving him hope. Jiang-suk arrived, firing at the zombies and throwing smoke bombs to create an escape route. They fought their way through the smoke and managed to board the helicopter, escaping the island.